Hi, I'm Russell C. Brennan. I'm the producer of the album The Alternative Bond Themes, also known as The Themes Bond, James Bond. And this is a behind the scenes look at the tracks on this 15-track album that's become a bit of a collectible and cult album over the years. First of all, how did it come about? Well, I started a thing in the 90s called the cult themes trend, which was to do new versions of cult TV and film themes for to help break new artists. And there was things like Man from U.N.C.L.E., Mission Impossible, Batman and so on, but obviously you had to include a few James Bond themes. So on the first one it included On Her Majesty's Secret Service and You Only Live Twice. And they proved very popular. In fact, You Only Live Twice by Eleanor Rigby went to #1 in Italy. Years later, in 2007, after I'd done about 15 James Bond themes, I was asked to put them all on one album. So I decided, okay, all 15 James Bond themes on one album, and that's how the Themes Bond, James Bond was born. But now we're going to look back on each track and the history of it. But just before I do that, what makes this the definitive alternative Bond themes? Well, it got the seal of approval from John Barry, no less. When I did an interview with him on the BBC back in 1999, he said at least 3 of the Bond tracks I'd done but equal, if not better, than the ones he did. And they were You Only Live Twice, Moonraker, and what was the other one? Beautiful Kill. So therefore, it's got the seal of approval from the man himself, and a number of Bond fans also say they're some of the best covers ever. So we'll start at one at a time then. You Only Live Twice was the first one we did, and I was married to a pop star who's still a bit of a cult figure today called Eleanor Rigby. She has one of the most interesting stories in pop music. Came out with a controversial single, I Want to Sleep With You, with Free Condom, and got banned, etc, etc. Then she did lots of quality records and finally disappeared at the height of her popularity. And the last track she ever recorded was You Only Live Twice and Up the Junction. So a few years after she disappeared, when I came up with the idea to do this Cult Themes album, that was placed on the album. And to my surprise, suddenly all the radio stations are playing this version of You Only Live Twice. And next thing you know, it's #1 in Italy, and she's not even around to enjoy it. And a video is cobbled together with bits of footage of her and a stand-in, which you're going to see in a moment. But if you want to know more about Eleanor Rigby, because it'll take so long to talk her story because it's so interesting here, I would advise you to go to the Future Legend Records website, and you can read her fascinating story there and get more of her releases. So, You Only Live Twice. also on the first Cult Themes album was On Her Majesty's Secret Service. This came about because I used to edit a magazine called Dedicated Follower in the Britannia on the mod scene, and the keyboard player Eleanor Rigby decided she wanted to do a track, so I teamed up with her, and because we were editors of a magazine we decided to call ourselves the Editors. Effectively what we did is we just busked and jammed a version of On Her Majesty's Secret Service in someone's living room, as they had a 4-track player. In fact, even one of the tracks weren't playing, it wasn't working rather, and so that was, it ended up being a 3-track. But a footnote to this story was Nick Beggs, who used to be Capture Goo Goo, was a head of A&R Phonogram at the time. I went to see him about another act, and he saw a copy of the themes from the 60s in my case, and he said, "Oh, I've got that album, it's really good, particularly like On Her Majesty's Secret Service." And why that's a footnote story is because he was busy booking people into 24, 48 track studios, and he thought it was a brilliant production, and yet it was only on a 3-track. So it's not about what you record on, it's what you do. And so here is a bit of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Finally, one additional footnote regarding the Editors. We called ourselves the Editors, and some years later another indie band came out called the Editors, stealing their name, and there was a bit of confusion as to if it was them doing the track. Well, you know, if they want to steal our name, that's the sort of thing that's happened, but it still proved popular, so there you go. So now we go on to the next theme. I went on to have, after Eleanor Rigby, I went on to have a band called Box Office Poison, and we did a number of themes, but we discovered a girl called Jo Sharp, and a lot of people she was a bit like Alison Moyet, and because of this there was a lot of prejudice against her because she was overweight, but she had a brilliant voice, she was a brilliant songwriter, and I thought she deserved a break, so I let her do Thunderball, and she did a great version of that. And one of the tricks I tend to use when doing Bond themes is if a male singer normally does the original, it's always better to have a female do the cover, then you don't get instant comparisons. Anyway, Jo Sharp did a brilliant version which you're about to hear a snippet of, but as a footnote to that one, if she'd hung around, she wasn't that unsimilar looking to Adele, and voice wise, and years later of course Adele got really big, so prejudice was a lot less in years later. So that was Thunderball. From Russia with Love was on themes from the 60s volume 3, and as I say, these are all in the album The Themes Bond, James Bond, that you get on the download on iTunes, Amazon, etc. So yeah, so that's probably the album to get as you're a Bond fan. We had another lead singer after Jo Sharp left called Mouse, and she wanted to do From Russia with Love, so we did that. And we also did an instrumental version which really captures the vibe of the James Bond feel and the sort of thing that John Barry liked to do, as we're big fans of John Barry. So that's pretty much what happened. It was the lead singer of that, and it proved very popular, and she even spoke some Russian in it, which is not even in the original. View to a Kill is by my current band, Psychick Holiday, and what happened there was in the 2007 when we were approached to have all the James Bond themes on one album, the band had just been formed, and I thought, well, good opportunity to get some exposure for the band, introduce them to the public, let them know what we're doing, and it suited our pop noir style, so we did a version of View to a Kill. Rather than do the electronic version of Duran Duran, I thought take things back to the roots, and I arranged a bit more like Goldfinger, so it's like a Goldfinger version of View to a Kill, and it proved very popular, and lots of people said it was one of the best Bond covers, and it helped establish us as it became a best-selling download on iTunes. And another footnote to this particular story is the lead singer at the time, Paulina, wanted to be a solo star, and she was using the band to get on, and unfortunately as soon as this started selling well, she decided to blag herself a solo deal at EMI, had a few hits in Poland and Greece, and hasn't been heard of since. So then we drafted a new singer, Isa Joanna T, who's now the lead singer, and we had an album out called Forever Pop Noir, which you can check out. That's got original music on.
Meeting you with a view to a kill, face to face in secret places, feel the chill. The nightfall covers me, let you know the plans I'm making. Could it be the whole world opening wide? A sacred wine, a mystery gaping inside. The weekend's wide and wide until we dance into the fire. Fatal kiss is all we need. Dance into the fire.
Moonraker's an interesting one because when I met John Barry, we were doing an interview in 1999, as I said, on BBC Radio, and it was a thing, it was something about, it's a show about cult themes, how they influential they were, and John Barry was saying that TV themes were just as influential and as part of people's backgrounds of people's lives as something like the Beatles, and I think he was right, and that's why they're in people's psyche and people love them. And so we got talking after we did the interview, and he said, I really like a lot of the versions you've done of our various themes, like the Persuaders, the Adventurer, the Crestfire, etc., but I particularly like 3 of the Bond tracks you did. You Only Live Twice, he said that was a brilliant version. Eleanor Rigby's a great vocalist, one of the best I've heard in recent years. No, I'm not surprised that was a big hit. So I really liked that one. He said View to a Kill, that was a really good version. And also he particularly went mad for Moonraker, which is the track I'm to talk about now. Moonraker came about, originally I was going to give it to Mouse, who'd done on a, what one was she did, from Rush with Love, and she wasn't that keen, so I discovered this new girl called Joan Martin, who later changed her name to Phoenix J. She was a big hit artist in Singapore. She'd come to England and thought she'd just automatically get the same sort of success, but that didn't happen, and she was really struggling to get anybody to notice her. So I said I'd produce a track for her and see what happened, and so decided to do Moonraker. And I went round her house because she had a really good recording studio, and she'd already knocked up some R&B backing track, which was crap, and it wasn't totally in tune with what James Bond was all about. She had an Asian fusion type music before that, which I thought she wanted to promote, so I wanted to do it more like that, but also keep the Bond element in it. And she sounded a bit like Diana Ross, but she was a brilliant singer, and so we did a version of it. And I think this is one of the best Bond covers because John Barry told me that he wouldn't reveal who was going to do Moonraker originally, but I don't think it was Shirley Bassey. A couple of people dropped out at the last minute, and he drafted Shirley in because she'd already done 2, and now I don't think there was plans for her to do 3. And it did sound a bit like that version of hers was going through the motions, as good as it was. So we thought it wasn't a surprise when John Barry said this was a much better version than his favourite. So that's the story behind Moonraker and the artist Joan Martin. Right, next up was a band called Toon, who like to spell their name with a 2 and double O-N, which confused a lot of people, perhaps one reason they didn't get anywhere. Lead singer was good though, and I arranged a version of For Your Eyes Only. Again, I did this a bit because I'd written a track for my own band at the time called Mysteries, and Madonna really liked it, and she was asking about signing my band to her Maverick record label, and she was a bit influenced by that track Mysteries at the time, and she ended up putting out a track called Frozen, which is similar. And so I thought, right, maybe I'll get a vibe like that mixed to the Bomb vibe, and that's the way I decided to produce For Your Eyes Only. And the band looked like they could get somewhere because they did have some talent, but as with a lot of bands, they just split up. They changed their name briefly to Bulldog and then split up again. So shame, because this For Your Eyes Only is a really good track, and again, because the original was done by a female artist, Sheena Easton, we decided let's go with a male artist, and that one proved very popular as well. Casino Royale. Now, this is not Casino Royale for the 2007 Casino Royale, but this is the Casino Royale tune that was done for the 1967 film, I think, of Casino Royale, which had David Niven in it. Bit of a spoof comedy of James Bond, and I think Herb Albert did the original, and it was really popular. So we decided, hey, that was a Bond theme, even though some people might not think so. So we'll do Casino Royale. We did it with a band called Adventures of Parsley. And Adventures of Parsley went on to be really popular because of it, because Mark Lamar decided, the DJ Mark Lamar, decided on his BBC radio show to use it as his theme tune every week. Then he had the Adventures of Parsley go and support his tour with him and Joe Brand, and so they started to do really well just off the back of that Casino Royale track that I produced for them. And so I thought, yeah, that is a Bond theme, let's have it on the Bond themes, which you don't normally find on the Bond themes album, but it is Casino Royale. And just as a footnote, I think David Arnold probably made a big mistake with that. He got some rock singer to do I Know Your Name or something for Casino Royale, and it just didn't work at all. It didn't sound like a Bond theme. There was a lot of criticism for it, and I was also critical of it. So it's a shame he didn't do a better one for the new Casino Royale, but you know, that's history. So this is Casino Royale. The story behind Live and Let Die is really good because when I was doing the cult themes, it was mostly about breaking new artists, and I decided after a while I wanted to freshen up the format, so I thought, let's get a big hit act out of retirement and get them to do one last track to say who they were back in the day, whatever, you know. And I was often likened to Joe Meek as a record producer, and so I remember the Joe Meek fan club, and they all started saying, why don't you get the Honeycombs and Glenda Collins out of retirement? Now the Honeycombs, for you youngsters out there who don't know they had #1 with Have I the Right, which was worldwide #1 in every country. It sold 27 million records, that's how popular it was. They had a few other hits, but nothing eclipsed that one. And the lead singer had a brilliant voice, and they were also notorious for having the first ever girl drummer. So they did make a bit of a big splash, and they knocked the Beatles off the top when they got to #1. So this band were not nobodies. So at the end of the day, they weren't one-hit wonders anyway, so they did a load of upgrade tracks, and they had a few more hits, but no one #1s, unfortunately. So I decided, yeah, let's try and get them out of retirement, and people said, oh, many people tried, nobody succeeded. And also what you find with a lot of these 60s bands is you get one original member, maybe just a bass player, and he's living off the name, doing the Scampi in the Basket circuit, and going around living off that sort of karaoke version of the hit 30 years later. But I decided, hey, I'm only going to produce the Honeycombs if I can get the original lineup, which meant Dennis Diego, who was the lead singer, Honey Langtry, who was the drummer, and her brother, who was the bass player, and one of the other people. And once the word got out that I was going to produce them, I met Dennis, and he managed to persuade all the rest of the band to come and get back together for one last track, as they hadn't played together since like 20 odd years or something. So I got the band together and asked them what cult theme they wanted to do, and they were Bond fans, and they said they'd had a big hit in Japan with an instrumental Goldfinger of all things, but they said, we want to do Live and Let Die, and I thought, well, I'd rather have a girl do that one, but in the end I said, alright, okay, let's do it. And then I started doing Joe Meek type arrangements by doing like overdubs for bass and drums, which is a bit unheard of at the time. And we did a great version, and Dennis, the lead singer, was really pleased. Said it was one of the best recordings of the Honeycombs' career, and particularly his, because Joe Meek used to speed his voice up, so you never got to hear exactly what he sounded like, and he wanted to sound more like he was live, so he managed to capture this on the Live and Let Die. But of course, years of fags and drink meant he wasn't as top notch as he was back in the day, but he still had a distinctive voice. And this Live and Let Die track proved to be very popular amongst Joe Meek fans and the former Honeycombs fans, and it gave the band one more last revival in their career, and they all retired happy. So that's the story about Live and Let Die.
You were young and your heart was an open door. You used to say, live and let live. You know you did, you know you did, you know you did. If this ever-changing world in which we live in makes you give it a cry, live and let die. Live and let die.
The Living Daylights. Well, a number of people were going to do Living Daylights and dropped out, and at the last minute I just signed up a talented Australian girl called Carmel Morris, who did a Prisoner theme album with her own music based influenced by the Prisoner cult TV show from the 60s. And this album was brilliant, and she had a great voice, so I just thought, yeah, let's have her do Living Daylights, the Aha theme. And again, it's the female doing what originally was a male kind of theme and stuff, so therefore that proved really popular as well, and you know, so that's how that came about.
100,000 changes, but everything's the same. I've been waiting long for one of us to say, save the darkness, let it never fade away. The living daylights.
Nobody Does It Better. Well, Mouse, as I said, was the lead singer of Box Office Poison, and she always loved that track, Nobody Does It Better, and so decided, okay, let's do that one. I was never a big fan of that one, to be honest, but I decided I wanted to try to get her to do a different version, because Carly Simon had did the original, and so I got her to do it in the Cockney style, and this was really a good version, but she was really hated it because she wanted to be like a proper singer. And so in the end we compromised, and she, on the Cult Themes album, the sung version came out, and it was quite a good backing track as well. I was dropping teardrops and stuff and marbles in water to get a kind of a cave effect, and so it's a very interesting version of Nobody Does It Better. But when the James Bond came out in 2004, I thought now it's time for people to do the Cockney version. And as an instinct of a record producer, I was right, because loads of people said, I much prefer that one with a Cockney accent. For some reason it shouldn't work, but it works, and it's just an interesting version of the track. And so that's Nobody Does It Better by Mouse.
Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad for the rest. Nobody does it half as good as you, baby.
sometimes I wish someone could. Nobody does it quite the way you do. Why'd you have to be so good?
Now, Man with the Golden Gun, that's another little story, which is, I'm known on the mod scene a lot because I produce cult artists, Eleanor Rigby. I had a mod record label, and I was a mod for many years, and so therefore I wanted to do a mod flavoured track, and I saw this band, forgot their name, what they were called originally, but anyway, I saw them in this club, and they were like the new version of the Small Faces, and I thought, oh great, and they were going down the storm, so I signed them up and said, right, do the cult themes. But there was a gap in between. I already had lots of other bands to record for something else at the time, so it took like 6 months before I could get around to recording the track with them. And by the time they turned up to the studio, the lead singer who had all the charisma and the brilliant voice had left, and one of the other guys who had a lot of charisma, bass player, he'd left. So I was left with the guitarist and the drummer, and a new person who, I wouldn't say they were the least talented, but they just weren't the band I'd signed. But they were the very last track I was doing for the Cult Themes album at the time, so I had to make do. So we did a very moddy version of The Man with the Golden Gun, and the guitarist ended up doing the singing because the singer had obviously left, and he could just about sing in tune and get it across. And so it's probably my least favourite track, but if you like mod music, it's got a very mod kind of jam thing about it, so it is a worthwhile track, but probably not my favourite of all the ones I've done. And that's saying something because I've had 250 tracks, and I'm probably happy with release worldwide as a record producer, and probably I'd say 248 I'm still happy with today, and there's 2 I'm probably not sure about, and that's one of them for the reasons I just gave. So that's Man with the Golden Gun by Moneypenny. They decided to call themselves Power Original because it was a bomb thing.
Love is required whenever he's hired. Comes just before the kill. No one can catch him, no hitman can match him. His $1 million skill. One golden shot means another victim has come to a glittering end. For Christ, he'll erase anyone. The man with the golden gun. He'll get the man with the golden gun. Shoot the man with the golden gun with his golden gun.
Diamonds Are Forever. This came about, I was asked to produce an album for Dr. Martens, which was based on the film Quadrophenia. They wanted to do a tribute to Quadrophenia, and because they liked the fact that I'd helped break a lot of new artists with the cult themes, they said they wanted to do a similar thing with what do you call it, Quadrophenia. And they said, oh, can you get a load of bands together and do new versions of the tracks on Quadrophenia, like You Really Got Me, Louie Louie, and etc, etc. And I thought, oh, I don't know about that. So in the end I agreed to do it, and started discovering new bands, and one of the bands I discovered was a 16-year-old girl band called Linus. So they were a really good schoolgirl band, really, but they were unique because of the way they sound and the look. So I thought, well, give it a go. And so we did a lo-fi version of My Generation for the Dr. Martens album. And because I got on well with the girls and things like that, the recording went really well, I said, well, I've got to do a bomb theme for the Cult Themes album. Let's do, because Diamonds Are Forever is so high-end and dramatic with Shirley Bassey, let's do a lo-fi version of Diamonds Are Forever with the girl band. And so that's how that came about, the Diamonds Are Forever theme by Linus, the 16-year-old girl band from the UK. the story of all the tracks that was on the James Bond album and how they came about. And I hope you enjoy it. Check out the album, it's on download at Amazon and iTunes, and we might do a limited edition CD if you check the Future Legend Records website to coincide with the new Bond film. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. I'm Russell C. Brennan, record producer. Bye for now. But as well as View to Kill, we also did the James Bond theme, and this was done in a totally different way to anybody else has done it, because quite a few people have covered the James Bond theme, so it's hard to come up with an original new version way of doing it. But what I decided to do was play the rhythm that the guitars play on the drums and swap the drums round to the guitars, and it proved to be a very interesting version of the James Bond theme.
The name's Holiday. Psychick Holiday. 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 Holiday.